enhancing people-centered security service delivery. As we reflect on the legacy of our heroes, we pledge to uphold the values they stood for and continue building a peaceful and secure Uganda for all. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development will read the budget speech for the financial year 2025-2026 under the theme Full Monetization of Uganda's Economy through Commercial Agriculture, Industrialization, Expanding and Broadening Social Services, Digital Transformation and Market Access. Please listen to the budget speech on 12th June 2025 to know the budget priorities and the opportunities it presents. Our budget, our responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and all the Budget Month partners. As we mark the 36th National Heroes Day, celebrated under the theme Legacy and Ideals of Our Heroes, a Memorable Inspiration, the Office of the Prime Minister congratulates His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa and the general public upon this day. Heroes Day reminds us of our national call to uphold the four core NRM principles of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation and democracy, coupled with values of integrity, sacrifice and unity. These were the principles held by the heroes, and it is therefore our duty to preserve and promote them for the next generation. Let us all draw inspiration from our heroes and contribute meaningfully towards the development of this country through the implementation of government programs to achieve socio-economic transformation. Happy Heroes Day celebrations for God and my country. Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, Prime Minister.
Uniquely ours. Explore Uganda.
Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala.
We have to change the political culture in this country, really. Who has bewitched Ugandans?
I want to assure you, as government, we shall do whatever it takes to ensure that Ugandans are safe.
We have conversations that have analysis, explanation.
This law society, this union of theirs, because they want a job everywhere, they want to be this, they want to be that, they want... No. We know it's a union.
You cannot be making a road, bitumen grade 1, in Congo for 5 billion.
But not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth.
The argument that the General Court Martial is responsible for peace and stability is without basis, either in law or in fact.
We have been told how Napoleon was a great orator. Now, Napoleon cannot help me get food. They told me combine harvest in Saskatchewan. I don't know where Saskatchewan is. This is a geography we're taught. Instead of teaching me how to preserve Mabera forest, they're teaching me about Rhineland. This is a problem we got. We cannot run away from it.
Right now, you hear very disgusting stories of members of parliament. Instead of discussing the details of loans, they ask for their cuts.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
It's the 9th day of June 2025, and Good Morning Uganda Extra has me, Julie Nantaba Musisi. Quite unusual, but hey, we continue to celebrate the heroes of Uganda. And in studio to do that with me is Mr. Matovu Vianney Ngoma, who is the Chief Whip of Fronasa. And really, it's Heroes Day, and this year's theme is looking at the legacy of our heroes, being the memory of great names and the ideals that they stood for. We continue the conversation that we had started already before the sports update came through. And to be on the show, 0709-603-592. Pardon me, 0709-602-592. Thank you so much for choosing UBC TV. A special shout out to the Deputy RDC of Amolata District in Langosa Region, that is Yavala Ahmed. Thank you so much for being on the show. Now, Mr. Matovu, we had talked about your perspective on how heroes are celebrated today in Uganda, and that's where we had ended it, but allow me to continue it from there. With the way celebrations are carried on, lately they have been carried away from celebrating those who fought in the liberation struggle to now the day-to-day people in the different sectors of the country. What's your stake on that?
My stake, I still maintain the position that it should be a research work. A research work of knowledge, taking much more root to know, has it been achieved to the root or not? Because the best teacher must give questions and exams to know the reading of the pervious of the knowledge he has impacted the students. So at our means and enclaves, it means that these issues must be moved by researchers, by reports, by reflections of the picture they have about the liberation struggle. Not self-aggrandizing, not campaigning, but we have to move.
We've seen people in the space of music being awarded, space of the arts being awarded, different spaces away from those who are in the bush war. Does it mean that what informs the committee that awards them, that honors them, is not necessarily the link between the reason why you and the whole group went to the bush to fight for liberation and connecting it to the peace that we have, so much so that other sectors are sprouting and people are sprouting from those sectors?
The Honors and Awards Committee is crippled with the law. Honors and Awards Act. Right. Because those who were in the Parliament and the first Council of Parliament, which is within the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, were not part of the honors to be awarded, to be remembered. They made a crippled law. They made a malicious law, not even thanking the heroes to the maximum level as it deserves. For example, there are some of the medals which were not awarded up to date. They could just write stories. For us, that act, we call it a story. It was a literature. They are parliamentary folly to form it like that, staggering that. Because if you say a hero, you have to describe that anybody honored and decorated a hero must be benefiting the following: his children, family, friends. You know, within that means we don't consider your own enclaves alone. We have the next of kin, we have everything. They are not there. Then we have a medal, the best of the whole medal in Uganda. It is called the Order of Rukaya. It has never been awarded. I repeat, the Order of Rukaya. Because Rukaya, when you are reading the history of Kagera War, the Tanzanians wrote a book in Swahili. It is called Vita vya Kagera. When you read about Kipigo cha Rukaya and how the sealing with the allies of Amin had sealed Rukaya so that we cannot cross Rukaya up to here, because they had already created an air base at Brakati in Rukaya. Heavy machines of the Palestinians, the Israelites, the Libyans, and those supporters of Idi Amin had sealed that place so that we cannot cross to that place. But now, when you ask, they may tell you that, we don't have money to, or maybe the staffing of the Honors and Awards Committee is also crippled. One time, I recommended one comrade of mine to receive a medal. I received a call from that office in the president's office asking me that, what do you mean by telling us that this one moved a battle from Chaka to Ngarama, crossing via Mbarara under the command of Brigadier Paul Sras Mayunga. Who is Mayunga? So in this business, we are not selfish. Those can staff in, but there must be people to correct them in that business. Because most of the recommended heroes doesn't get medals. Because when they read stories and they get puzzled with the stories they don't know, and they don't consult the books, even though they don't know where the library are, they simply say, this is a fabricated story, and they throw it out.
Don't you think, shouldn't the president be able to speak into this, because he's part of the history, he knows these things?
Not speaking, he's supposed to answer. Because he is within the wisdom. Those speakers are those who doesn't know, but with him must answer. He has an answer for it. This is why you have speeches as ranging in parliament, because the business they are talking about, let it be in the question of agriculture law, what theirs is debate. They speak. But for us, we don't speak. We give answers. We are accountable to whichever is coming before us for a question, for response. That's why I'm saying he must answer this, not speak about. Because speaking and speaking are ceremonial, are stories to amuse. You can amuse the giraffe and you leave the march and quit and fall out. So this is why we want these things materialize practically. We don't want them as folk stories, as poems, and the like, because this was a practical business, resiliently moved for the cause, and which is still en route.
Speaking of which, you and I have been having a behind-the-scenes conversation, and I would like to bring it here because I believe everyone in my generation relates. The fact that in our curriculum, that curriculum, at least I attended, not the one that's being rolled out since 2020. The curriculum I attended, we were taught a lot of history. And most of that history was European history. We studied a lot about European history. We studied a lot about African history in general, a lot of history in Africa. And when it came to Ugandan history, it was on the surface. You get to know about the liberation of 1986, you get to know about the independence, you get to know, those surface. But with what you've shared here this morning about the beginning of Fronasa, a little bit of it would be shared and not as deep as you've shared it. And that's why many people are coming through thanking you for the for the profound background that you've painted that many of us did not pick from school and are learning today. So what is the relevance of Fronasa to today's youth?
Now, you have mentioned one word, curricula.
Right.
The white man's folly, or the colonial folly, for them, they don't have curriculum.
What do they have?
They have stories. That's why the packaging of our packages to be studied and taught in schools of learning are in a rhetoric way of stories. Because for them, they don't have curricula means an activity. This is why you see when you go and ask a question, they have been failing it, but they know they have been scoring it. When they ask, I always read and laugh at them. When they ask curriculum vitae or curriculum vitae, however you pronounce it,
right.
Everybody writes how he went to school.
Right.
That's not a curriculum, because a curriculum must be an activity. This is what they changed in a migrational law, digital migrational law, and language to be technology. At first, Africans were the ones in curricular activity. This is why at first the technology in the packages of the books we have, it was called blacksmithing. When they learned that we shall reclaim it back, having realized, they changed it to many words, digital technology, that the first inventor of technology was an African. This is why they blindfold us, transforming our packages of wisdom, our packages of migrations to a stable governance, to what they call curriculum, what they call story. They scrap even civic. For us, we had civic. We didn't have political science. Those are fabricated stories to scare people that you know more, whereas not. Ours is civic education, because leaders, politics is a science of civic business. That's why we called it civic education. They scrapped it in the school. And they are now, the target, they were scrapping the wisdom of the struggle, because they knew that as we continue leading successful struggles, we shall lead the overturn of the economic bondages, socio-political bondages of the European hegemony in Uganda and throughout Africa, because we had formed the Pan-African realizations and struggles against them. And when they sensitized how Nyerere championed them, can you imagine? Vladimir Putin is from their war, but was trained in Tanzania for 4 years. For us Africans, we train 9 months to be a sophisticated and hardened caliber of a fighter. But you imagine, those whites who were in Kabore, in Bagamoyo, they are very many, I can best mention them. They were to achieve the art of moving in the struggle or fight against the enemy 4 years. Here, 9 months. So they were scared. That's why they have scrapped our history and start teaching us the Napoleon, the whatever. And even they grabbed our knowledge. Because when you go into the books now, as of recent, which are being taught by our children, they tell them that the source of River Nile was invented or discovered. Discovered, yes. By so and so, who came later as it has lived within centuries of dominions. I can imagine, or even Rwanda and Sada. These, they speak, they grant, the whatever, before they were here. These Vasoga, did they require aeroplanes to go and discover the source of River Nile? So they are transforming theirs to be wise, to be of importance, ours being of least degraded caliber so that we can keep bowing to them.
And yet you'd wonder, with a great Pan-Africanist like the president of Uganda, why would we have such in our curriculum? Why were we taught these things in the first place? Why were we taught about John Speak? Why were we taught about Dr. Livingstone? Why were we taught? Why do you think so? Because you would expect him to inform that our curriculum.
When we scrap them, the best way of making Europeans poor is to scrap all these materials they are bringing here, because theirs is commercial. When they changed education from a knowledge education to commercial education of selling books, because they task you to buy them, that's why they maintain training those books to us, because they will refer you to go and buy them. When you buy them, you are contributing commercially to them. For them, they are on commercial gains. For us, we think and dream that we are on academic. No way. You can't be academic without your surroundings. You don't know yourself.
The knowledge of your surrounding. That's
you
true.
don't know yourself, and you think academician.
Now let me engage.
This is why
yes.
we read debate in samples, academic samples, academic poetry.
Right. Let me read a bit of comments for you. Biaruhanga Ali, thank you for the program. My question to our brother is, can he tell us how someone can get paid or recognized for the loss of a family member in the struggle or of liberation? This is Biaruhanga Ali asking that question.
Biaruhanga Ali is good. He has reached my way of wisdom. It is a lawful matter and a question of law. So when you lose, you get a letter from the LC. As of recent, they changed the law. You go to NIRA, you get the death certificate. You go to court, you get letters of administration. After getting the letters of administration, when he is a combatant with a service number or whatever, you go to the Ministry of Defense. They have regional centers. Every region has a region. Then you go to the office of pension and gratuity. Then they register and they give you what they call estate account. They keep remitting your money to their account. The reason why they call it estate account, that money is for all beneficiaries. Because at first, before engaging letters of administration, people use it to dominate the money. Whoever is registered to receive benefits takes benefits as his own, not knowing that it is for the deceased. In our language, we don't call them the deceased, they are the foreign. For the foreign to cater for his people.
Yes.
When they don't remit the money, that one must write a petition to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. When they refuse to pay, goes to bodies which investigates, can go to the IGG, can go to Auditor General, they audit the account and see why. Can report that matter to investigatory bodies to investigate and dig more deeper to know why they don't pay. Because there is a business there. There are some of the people who are smart. They know that somebody foreign, but his people or her people doesn't know. They come and forge fabricated records. They go and keep getting benefits. So that one also can be checked and prosecute them. That's how, when he is a historical member, those who contributed in the war, the law classifies them as ex gratia. The simple term is what we call civilian veterans. Those civilian veterans, they write and take that document to the Ministry of Rural Triangle. So the Rural Triangle has their committees. They go and see how to cater for the terminal benefits. Those are the two categories.
Right. Reading more of your comments. Good morning, Uganda. I'm grateful to Chief Matovu for this program on such a great day. I wish this knowledge was always put on shows, taught in institutions. We would not have ruthless youth that are acting and being used by politicians in a negative way. Happy Heroes Day. This is Miracle Grace from Kampala. Yusuf Kadiesi from Zana, you ask, good morning, UBC. I am asking Chief Matovu, when you are in Tanzania or Mozambique for training, did you fight? Okay, yeah, you're asking, did you fight the Portuguese, or you are there training to attack Amin Dada only? Please answer that one. It's from you. It's for Yusuf Kadiesi from Zana.
Hey, okay, you can't be in a war zone.
Right.
That's how they say, those English people. For us, we are not. And fail to engage in any cross-fire exchange. Because for them, they know you are all enemies of them. They have to attack. Because going to Mozambique, it was not a plain route of flying cross. When you are crossing from Mirambo to crossing to up to Cabo Delgado, you have to cross on foot. There you have to run into ambuses and the like.
Right, yeah.
You have to fight. You don't be there to sit and train, because the first trainings were received in Tanzania. That one was the core finishing. And we were in strong close ally of a lady called Josina Mtemba. Josina Mtemba, I have seen these English speakers here in Parliament of Uganda deceiving me, not others, deceiving me, that they are the ones who brought these words they deceive us with. Women emancipation, you see, and they're like, no. This wisdom originated from a lady called Josina Mtemba, was a Mozambican lady, the first fighter, a woman fighter. Those who are in police, women, those who are in the cabinet, like the Right Honorable Nabanja, and those who are in the army, women, let them not deceive people that we are the ones, we put it on the floor of the parliament, we were there, women. No, that lady is the one who proved to us that a woman can lead the struggle or is capable of similar tasks like a man.
Right.
That lady called Josina Mtemba. For us, we remember her, because by the time, she was not already like these ones who deceive people that they brought the special interest groups. They have sarcastic words. No, for us, we don't call them special interest. No, we call them able, wise, and was qualifying Ugandans to serve us. But these ones, they are abusing them in their English, saying that special interest, which means they don't understand they are interested by anxiety to come in the business. No, they are very able, and most of them, they are more wiser than these ones challenging them, calling them special interest group. Group even, they are using sarcastic words. Group. Can I be a group when I am a potential at the age of the constitutional caliber to serve my nation?
Right.
And I have wisdom, fully-fledged, to be a group. Group to where? Where is that group and that camp of special interest?
Right, that is Mr. Matovu Vianney Ngoma, who's shooting shots at some of the language that is being used in the day-to-day narrative, like special interest groups. But let me read some of the comments that you've sent in. Good morning, UBC. I'm watching. I wish everyone a happy Heroes Day. Thanks to His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Lieutenant General Tumwine, General Kahinda, and all freedom fighters, plus the earlier leaders of Kabaka Mutesa, Milton Obote, Idi Amin Dada, who fled whites back to their countries. I'm Andrew from Lian Ponde. Okay, that is Andrew's perspective. Hello, Teacher Katende from PG. My hero today is my mother. Oh, thank you so much, Teacher Katende, for coming through. Now, Mr. Matovu, what lessons from the liberation struggle do you think that the youth today should pick from all of you gentlemen and women?
Lessons, what they should pick.
And those that they should take seriously to move
very
Uganda forward.
serious and keen of them.
Yes.
Without neglecting it. The first is to sacrifice. The one which is killing the wisdom of Ugandans, they are much more wise. Money syndrome. When you tell them to sacrifice and invent and research, the first question on the floor, will I get money? Will I get food to eat? Or how can I gain? Questions of gains without sacrifice, you can't live.
But you see, hunger can easily cause someone to give up whatever they were supposed to fight for.
This country is a country of whatever you are worried of, free, because by the whites agreeing and confessing that this one is a part of Africa, everything is richer there. But now, consensus of richness, of money, paper money, is causing problems here. They should know that they should have to sacrifice. From the sacrifice, the gain of money, the gain of wealth is not primary, is secondary after toiling with the business you are engaged in. Secondly, what they should take serious is that they are supposed to transform most of the programs so that they can be practical. Take example, patriotism. Shouldn't be a gospel. This patriotism of the current is patriotism of the gospel, preaching the gospel. Patriotic clubs, patriotic whatever. No.
In school, there are patriotism
clubs.
clubs.
What about those who are not at school, who didn't have the chance to go to school? Now they have clustered them. Secondary, primary, no. Why? Is that patriotism? Which means patriots are those in schools. Did Uganda as a country to be recognized in the intercastrian region before transforming to these words of the European hegemony of Uganda, Republic, it was called Semazinga. It was called the intercastrian region. Was it formed by the gospel of patriotism of those who, of those who are in secondary schools? Let us take an example. The Europeans, to be challenged by the king of Ankole, when they were coming, they wrote a letter to him to visit his palace in Kamukuzi. But the king refused even to meet them, sent a parish chief called Buchunku to meet them at a close range of 17 kilometers and frustrate them not reaching his palace. Was that one a secondary patriot? What about chief, the white man, to be challenged by Chief Mukwawa and reaching a level of cutting his head to go and see what is in the brain? By neglecting our own history and science and art, we are still kneeling before the whites for nothing. Go to Bunyoro Kingdom. Kabarega was the first inventor of the military academy. The military men, those who are building Sandhurst, where we go to write PSC, Sandhurst, and think militarized. Kabarega was very smart here. they didn't know the underground tunnel, is the first to form the underground tunnel, is the first to challenge these people. For us here, who go to Sandhurst and India and China and everywhere, they can't take you to centuries and you come back. They took these kings to centuries. They came. They beat these Europeans and came back to Uganda and then back at their kingdoms. So here, I have had somebody who has cited about independence. This is not.
We are not independent.
No. They formed a word and hidden their agenda.
So it's more hypothetical.
To blindfold us, we grabbed that one and we ran away with that one by package of the words and colors painted there. Now, the Queen, who read the Lancaster House meeting, maintained kingship of the roads of the United Kingdom. United Kingdom, when they united all the kingdoms, it became the Great Britain. And for us, ours here was to unite kingdoms and continue with our centralized governance and leadership. But what they did, they brought an abusive word called republic. Republic. Republic, our ancestors call it rufaya. The word rufaya means everybody must go there and pray business. This is why we run Katogo. We are in a legislative drum, but those even who studied other disciplines are allowed to be there. When we failed with all whichever was packaged, we formed Senior 6, A level. What is A level? In the thinking of the programming of the country. Here, we have very many people who think that without speaking English as I am speaking, I am not wise. If this program was in Uganda, they shouldn't have been texting these messages or even attending it to the end. They look it foolish, not knowing that your own language is your own wisdom, science, and knowledge. Not even, should we take it in a context that we run famine of English language, we went to look for food called English. Is it famine? Is it, oh, okay. Should we think that when you are taking a child to school without knowing English, the head is empty? They have to refill. As they refill tanks of the vehicles and chargeable cars with electric and fuel to make it full. Or you go hard house with your knowledge that what you utilize. And the brain itself is not formed at the foundation of English. It is formed at the foundation of the culture of your mother and the family. That's why most thinkers say that charity begins at home. They don't, these Wazungu are very wise. They didn't say that the best knowledge to have, the wisdom begins at home. They called it charity. Charity. As if we are going to donate, as I hear, charity organizations. That's how they blindfold to make our own knowledge, our own business inferior to theirs.
Right now, I feel I'm not so sure what I did at school with what Mr. Vianney Matovungoma has expressed in line with our education system, in line with preserving the history, the true history of Africa and the true history of Uganda. I feel like, what was that? What did I do for all the years I attended school? But oh well, it's past and gone, and I'm here today learning from him live on UBC TV, as well as you are 0709602592. And you did hint a little on the heroes that you believe should be receiving medals. Could you elaborate more, add to the list? In your view, who are the unsung heroes?
The heroes, we shall not use those words unsung.
Right.
No, the history remain concrete. We shall have to uphold. The best is to uphold and demand the correct package of the matter. Now, we have categories.
Right.
In the, they call it in the category. We have categories of the medals. We have Kagera War. Those Kagera War, it is the category of those who engaged in civil disobedience and armed rebellion and struggle from 1971 to 1979. Then from there, we have the independence. The independence is of 1961 to 62 to date. Then we have the Cabaret Gasta. Those are the ones which I was elaborating. We have the Dam Medal, those who said Barad. That one, we have the Ruero Triangle. But within that act, everything is spelled out on those who to receive it. But the reason why I demand the amendment is to consider the benefits of those people. Because not decorating and neglect, not decorating by fun, so somebody was decorated. It should be at the level of other countries.
Right.
A hero has benefits to have. Decorations, you have benefits by law to achieve. But it's an absurd memorable gathering to find a hero of Kagera Medal, Ruero Triangle, is staggering at home. But a hero of elective mandate, an MP, service award, 100 million. Commissioner of Parliament, 5 million, 500 million, billions. Those should be going to the heroes, constructing them, so that we can have a clean policy history. This is why I'm going to disclose this, because it is, though it is unpleasant to hear. Do you know the reason why? When most heroes, when they die, they don't offer state burials. It will embarrass the nation. But they don't tell people, that's why they don't go there. They can go to me, to where I come from, with a rich history and activity. Struggles I've done in this country, you find I sleep in a hut. Instead of running embarrassment, they go and offer a state burial to an MP who smuggled and has bungalows. Because when you go there as journalists, you bring clean pictures, not embarrassing ones. This is why most heroes are not awarded state burials. Because how can a president go there to put a flower or a wreath, that's how you call it, on an exorbitant coffin in a hut? In a mama ingia pore when you go to Teso. That will embarrass. They have tied in these MPs, even they can go and give them because for them, they have decent ones. For us Ugandans, we have decency. It should be better we go there, we get embarrassed, they challenge us, we correct the mistake, than hiding in curtains of other umbrellas, thinking that everything has been covered. That one will not help us. Secondly, I am proclaiming and advocating the amendment in the CAM Delegates Conference of NRM. They considered much other and neglected the Historical Leaders Forum. There is that act section in that constitution of NRM. I want that Historical Leaders Forum to be more powerful than any other. You could find Youth League, Women League, Veterans League, other leagues, more soundable. And that they don't elect them also. They have started of recent, when I waged a terrible struggle, a bitter one, eyeing bitterly and incredulously with Tango Doi. If you can go to the office of Director Legal, how I rest, because they couldn't even consider them erecting. I went there, I gagged, I wrote twice. But now of recent, that's when I heard that now at the district level, they constitute a committee called the Historical Leaders Forum, which is not better. The Historical Leaders Forum, they shouldn't be a forum. Which forum? It should be a council. They have to amend. How can you get the owner of the business to be a forum? Forum. It is just a forum. In Uganda and Runyankore, we call it Echidandari. And now they should go to Kororo, to wherever they will sit in this delegates conference, because the conference is the one which has mandate to amend it. I want it myself, not ganging with anybody, that it should be Historical Leaders Council, not Historical Leaders Forum. Can you imagine? Forum.
Now, the theme this year is Legacy of Our Heroes, is the great names and ideals that they stood for. In your perspective, how do
the
you...
legacy, the great names, it should be what I'm instilling. Truth. When the historical leaders are councils, so the great names and the legacy will be upholding. So the legacy cannot come as a miracle. It's not miraculous. It comes by the owners of the business to uphold it. And the Historical Leaders Council should be checking even sake the whole business to check that we had these objectives, we are here, we want to move here, the direction and focus is this. And the reports should flow to them so that they can correct what they targeted for. Because when it goes to those councils which are targeting positions, not correcting what they sacrificed for, it will remain an issue of a bandwagon.
How do you define the legacy of a national hero?
The legacy of a national hero means that what you fought for is in place, is exercised, is important, and has benefited those who were there and those who were not there, who are in practice. It shouldn't be for fun, for stories. No, it must bear fruits. That's why scientific science, scientific Jesus, not religious Jesus, sent his people to bear fruits. And for this one must bring gains. That's the legacy. To revere, to remember that these ones constituted this. Others are calling it in German the Great War, the Concrete War. And the other practical religious people, they call it the Peter, which is the Concrete War.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matovu Vianney Ngoma, for coming through to the show, for educating us. It's been such a profound time with you. Mr. Vianney is the Chief Whip of FRONASA. And let me close this with a couple of your comments. Good morning, UBC. Okumu Kenneth is my name, a son of Padar soil. Happy Heroes Day to our country, Uganda. My great hero is my father, Opira Charles in Lamichwida village. He played the big role in supporting UPDF during the wartime in Puranga sub-county, Pader district. He was greatly hunted to be killed by the rebels because of supporting UPDF, and he contributed so much to the peace that we have currently. And Happy Heroes Day to our President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And good morning, UBC. Greetings to our living hero. Nga, he looks so young, and that is to you, Mr. Matovu. And one final one. Happy Heroes Day to President Museveni, UBC, and the world at large. May the Almighty God bless you, our beloved President. You are indeed a hero, Mzee. Help me extend this message to the President. I need his help. Okay, it's not well with your parents. Okay. All right, I guess those above me will help handle this particular one. But thank you so much for being on the show. That's it from Good Morning Uganda. Today we are celebrating Heroes Day, and the celebrations, national celebrations, will be at Lyantonde Technical Institute in Kaliro Town Council, that is in Lyantonde District. We'll be heading there live to show you the whole ceremony live here on UBC. So make sure that you stick around and watch and follow the events as they unfold, as 50 men and women will be honored, 41 of these males and 9 of these females. From me to you, let's do this again tomorrow on Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Heroes Day is observed on the 9th of June annually in Uganda. On this day, we commemorate the sacrifices made during the Bush War of 1981-1986, which played a crucial role in shaping Uganda's political landscape. It is a time to remember and acknowledge the struggles and achievements of those who fought for independence, peace and justice, and to reflect on the ongoing efforts to build a better Uganda. This year, the celebrations will take place under the theme, The Legacy and Ideals of Our Heroes, a Memorable Inspiration. Join us on Monday the 9th of June in Lyantonde District as we relay the activities live on UBC. Happy Heroes Day.
On the occasion of the 36th Heroes Day, the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, together with the Uganda People's Defense Force, join His Excellency General Retired Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda and Commander-in-Chief of the UPDF, and all Ugandans in commemorating this significant event. As we honor the gallant men and women who sacrificed for the peace, freedom, and prosperity of our nation, we reaffirm our commitment to ensuring peace and stability throughout the country. Aligning with the National Development Plan 4, we remain focused on completing the UPDF National Referral Hospital, fast-tracking the construction of the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs headquarters, strengthening the capacity of security agencies to address emerging security threats, and enhancing people-centered security service delivery. As we reflect on the legacy of our heroes, we pledge to uphold the values they stood for and continue building a peaceful and secure Uganda for all. National Heroes Day, celebrated under the theme, Legacy and Ideals of Our Heroes, a Memorable Inspiration. The Office of the Prime Minister congratulates His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the general public upon this day. Heroes Day reminds us of our national call to uphold the 4 core NRM principles of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy, coupled with values of integrity, sacrifice, and unity. These were the principles held by the heroes, and it is therefore our duty to preserve and promote them for the next generation. Let us all draw inspiration from our heroes and contribute meaningfully towards the development of this country through the implementation of government programs to achieve socio-economic transformation. Happy Heroes Day celebrations for God and my country. Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, Prime Minister. the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development will read the budget speech for the financial year 2025-2026 under the theme Full Monetization of Uganda's Economy through Commercial Agriculture, Industrialization, Expanding and Broadening Social Services, Digital Transformation and Market Access. Please listen to the budget speech